Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here tonight with Bruce McCurdy. Welcome, Bruce.
Hey, David. How are you doing tonight?
Well, I had a hockey practice. I was out skating, so that's always fun. Came back and saw the Oilers lose a game in overtime that they probably had no right to be in, just like they've had no right to be in the last 4 games, Bruce.
Mm-hmm.
And they've gotten some absolutely stellar goaltending and have managed to get 2 wins and a loser point out of those 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
Crucial point of the season, and I guess goaltending's part of hockey. It's fair and square and legal to be in a game or steal a point that way. And man, Mikko Koskinen has just come up absolutely huge in this stretch of games. Tonight they lost 3-2 in overtime to the Vegas Golden Knights, and the Oilers were never really in the game. And I wonder, Bruce, how much of this is to do with the schedule. You know, this is like December. I don't know if it's as bad as December, but this is another one of these runs of endless games, endless travel, teams getting sick. Connor McDavid didn't play, and they're looking like they're totally have zero gas in the tank. Since that huge win in Nashville, 8-3, you know, you might think it was the emotion of that game carrying over for a couple games. Maybe he can't reach that high again, but what's going on, Bruce? What's going on here?
I don't know. It looks like the whole team's got the flu the way they played tonight.
Yeah.
Man, in a battle, somebody.
All right, let's do our 2 good things, 2 bad things, and 2 numbers podcast. Bruce, what's your... It's tempting to start with the bad things, isn't it? But what's your good thing?
Well, you already touched on it, but I mean, there's only, to me, one good thing out of that game. Well, I guess I got a point. Mikko Koskinen has been an absolute monster in net. He faced down 48 shots tonight, 22 of them that we deemed to be grade A scoring chances, which may be the highest total of the entire season.
It's one of them.
Looking at it up, I mean, the last 2 games last week were 17 each, and we thought those were bad. Well, +5 to that, or -5, depending on how you're doing your math. And the big guy could use a little tiny bit of help from his teammates, maybe a goal or 2 at the other end, maybe somebody checking, maybe somebody covering his man, maybe somebody, you know, doing their job in front of the net. I mean, the breakdowns on the goals were ugly, but the good thing is that the breakdowns on many other plays happened that Koskinen just squelched them by being there and making the big stop. And he made 45 such saves in this game. And he's gotten hot at the right time. This could easily be a 4-game losing streak right now. And thanks to the big Finn, who started 3 of the games and got 5 points for him, almost by himself, honestly.
When he's on his game, he makes it look easy, doesn't he? It's not like he's pinballing around the net or anything. He's just on his knees, and he's just, you know, this mountain in the net, and it's fantastic. It's going to be interesting if they get to the playoffs. When they get to the playoffs, who's going to start in net for the Oilers? It's going to be a tough choice because Mike Smith has been playing fantastic too, and he really adds that dimension of puck moving, which has been quite a key to his game all year long. And it really, against the right kind of team that likes to dump and chase, like a grinding team, I think Smith might be the right choice. Against a more passing team that likes to set up pretty plays, I think Koskinen might be the right choice. So we'll see who gets the call then. Bruce, my good thing was Kailer Yamamoto.
Mm-hmm.
The Dynamite line was reunited tonight, and they didn't have a whole lot of their old Yamamojo going on. They were not quite what they were previous to this. Draisaitl's, it's 2 games now without a point, is it not, for Leon? And but Yamamoto was just flying out there, I thought, working his butt off. And of course, he made the great play to poke the puck out in front of the net for Nugent Hopkins to put it in the net. I think the players love playing with Yamamoto. I think Nugent Hopkins and Draisaitl just love it. And who wouldn't? Because he's constantly winning pucks. Like we've heard, he's got a wrestling background. He seems to get leverage in inside players
That would explain a couple of
in
things, wouldn't
tight,
it?
in tight, worm his way around, find a way to get in there quickly and get leverage and get the puck and pass it out, win the puck. Um, if he doesn't get hurt, he is going to be a strong NHL player for a decade. So let's hope he doesn't get hurt a lot. With his small physique, the way he plays and his size, it's hard to imagine that he won't. And he has been hurt, off and on. But when he's going and when he's good, man, this is one fantastic hockey player. Credit, I guess it was Keith Gretzky who pushed hard to draft Yamamoto. And credit to Gretzky for that pick. What a player! And he was the best Oilers skater on the night when there wasn't a whole heck of a lot of skaters who stood out for their excellence. I thought he did.
He had 6 hits in this game, the little guy. Mind you, the hit counter went kind of crazy. He had a 46-37 on the night. I guess it was a rugged game, but that you don't see too many games with over 80 hits in them. Ryan Reeves had 9, and Matt Benning got hit a whole bunch of times, I guess.
He got hit about 30 times. They really seem to be targeting Matt Benning, don't they, Bruce? It seems like it seems like a strategy, and that he just gets battered now, and it's hard to watch. Like, honestly, I'm starting to find in the first period there was all kinds of shots of him getting absolutely obliterative checks and going to the bench in just tremendous pain. And I hope he's going to be able to work through this in the NHL, because he is an NHL hockey player and he's a decent one. But this isn't good. Like the amount of punishment that he's taking. I don't know how long any one player can take that.
Maybe he's got to learn the Sherwood sandwich technique or something.
That's what I was thinking all game long. Like, Matt Benning, get your stick up. Like, stick it in. Like, take a penalty, cross-check someone in the face the next time someone comes in to hit you. Start to get really nasty about it, and he's not like he's a shrinking violet on the ice. He is a very. Oh. What is a shrinking violet anyway, Bruce? Do you know what that? I know what it means. Term.
Yeah,
but I wonder what it means. Is it a flower?
I think it's just it's a flower. A violet is a flower, and a shrinking violet is one that's kind of wilting and going away.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, I think we can now safely move on to our bad things, and I'm going to save my bad thing for second, because we all know what's coming here. You know it, and I know it, and all the people listening to this podcast. One of us is going to go off on this, and everyone knows what it's going to be. And probably we both will. But what's your bad thing to start?
Well, you also touched on this, but it's still kind of foremost in my mind. The Oilers, since they scored 5 goals in the third period and stomped Nashville last Monday, 1 week ago, they have played 4 games and they've stunk in every game. It's just not good enough. I mean, get your shit together, Oilers. This is just not good enough. I mean, 3 games this week that Mikko Koskinen has started, and he's faced 43, 46, and 48 shots. 135 shots in 3 starts. That's 45 a game, 15 a period, every period. Come on, help the guy out a little bit. And they've just been getting blown out. In the other game that they played, they lost in Chicago. And in that game, they woke up in the third period, but they stunk Chicago barring out for the first 2 periods of that game. And there hasn't been a game of the 4 where they played more than 20 minutes of decent hockey. And it's just not acceptable. I mean, this is a drive for the playoffs. Show some effort, show some energy, show some cohesiveness. It's just they're just getting dominated. They can't get the puck over their own friggin' blue line. And it's shift after shift, they get swarmed down in their own end of the ice, and they just don't seem to be able to cope with it and make a pass to a forward who can then make a damn play to get the puck over his line. And I mean, it's just painful to watch. I mean, let's have a little flow. Where is it?
I'm a little more forgiving, Bruce. I do think it is related to the schedule that they've had. Oh. And it has been I don't have the numbers in front of me. Let me do.
I hate the schedule, and I have a beef with how the schedule got constructed this year, with all the extra off days given right around the time they had the week break. Like, that was very poorly done. And the Oilers, it's high time they actually had somebody who interacted with the league and said, "Stop screwing us with the schedule," because this is 4 or 5 years in a row I've hated the schedule for some obvious built-in flaw to it.
Who's their governor? That's Bob Nicholson's job. Like, wake up, Bob.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
wake up,
somebody's
Bob.
job.
Get on the
Somebody's
job,
job.
man.
Get doing it.
Yeah, because they're saying, well, Ken Holland's. I was listening to Bob Stauffer on Oilers now. Like, Ken Holland's going to get on this, and he doesn't like this, and he doesn't like that. Well, where was Bob Nicholson last year?
Mm-hmm.
This is the problem of having an NHL neophyte running your entire hockey operations organization. He doesn't really, he doesn't have the experience, and this is manifesting in this really crappy schedule, which was unforgivable schedule this year, and someone should have raised holy hell and made sure this didn't happen. So maybe Chiarelli, they fired Chiarelli. Maybe he was the guy taking care of that, and they didn't have anyone on the ball.
They fired him in January, and the schedule came out in July or whatever. I mean, it's pretty hard to put that one on this year on Chiarelli.
It's not on him. No. So in the last week, Bruce, they've played. This is 5 games, right? Like, so.
Counting Nashville.
Yeah.
And like I say, since the Nashville game, they haven't had one decent effort.
Yeah. Okay.
5 points. I mean, you take the points and run. You run to the bank, or you run for the border the way they thefted those points.
The astonishing thing is, Bruce, they could have won in overtime. I mean, how did Ethan Bear miss? That was such a great chance. And the other great thing about that Ethan Bear chance, Bruce, is that Leon Draisaitl had been on the ice a minute already. And Nugent Bear rushed in there. It was just such a great opportunity for Leon Draisaitl to get off the ice. He'd been out there a minute. He was tired, trying to get off the ice, Leon, and he didn't. And he was out there, Bruce.
I'm guessing this is your bad thing we're building towards.
It's Leon Draisaitl's selfish play. Selfish play, which is costing his team points. He has got to stop doing this. It's not appropriate. It's not right for a player to do what he's doing in overtime. He is playing selfish hockey right now in overtime. And it's costing the Oilers again and again because he's taking 2 shifts that are too long. He had a perfect opportunity with a minute left, with a minute gone in overtime, to get off the ice. Nugent and Bear are streaking down the ice on a 2-on-1. Get off the ice, man. But he doesn't. He stays out there. He's too tired to make a play for the rest of the time he's out there. He's gasping and trying to catch his wind. He finally gets the puck and he almost loses it because he can't puck protect it. And then Bear gets it in the corner and turns it over. Draisaitl's streaking up the ice. Maybe he was trying to get off then. I don't know. But he didn't even get off the ice then, and they scored. Yeah. He was on the ice for, 2 minutes and 11 seconds. 2 minute and 11-second shift. I don't know how many line changes, how many players Vegas had on the ice in that time. 15? Like they were able to shift the whole team through by the time they scored, because of Leon Draisaitl. And it was his man in the high slot. They passed it back to Leon's man in the high slot who scored. Now, Leon Draisaitl, I've been saying all year long, he's the league MVP. We've been praising him all year long. He's having a fantastic year. He is a fantastic hockey player, but he has a problem here in overtime, and his coach does too. Dave Tippett does too. Because Dave Tippett
he's got to take charge of this thing.
All right, so I'll let you.
He's got to take charge of this thing, Dave Tippett. He sounded pissed in the post game, and maybe it's time that he had that little meeting, because this is, by my count, the 5th, maybe the 6th overtime loss. The Oilers have lost in overtime, where they've had players, and I think Leon is the primary culprit, caught out for shifts longer than a minute that they get scored on at the end of it. And it just won't do, David. I mean, sure, he's the best guy, and when he changes out, the guy that comes out is not going to be as good as him, but he's sure in the hell going to be a lot fresher. And I mean, to me, it's not. If I was his teammate, I'd be pretty choked. I got to tell you. And I bet you that a few of them are. Especially the teammate that's waiting for that next shift that's freaking locked on the bench because the guy doesn't come off. I mean, 2 minutes plus, and then he floats around in the center zone while the D-man from the other team drives into the middle of the slot and hammers a one-timer to win the game. It's not good. It's just not good enough.
I swear I could have heard about with like a minute 30 in overtime, someone yell from the bench, angrily, Leon. And I
Mm-hmm.
thought I heard that, but maybe I didn't.
Oh,
Maybe I
by
was
then the
hallucinating.
puck was in Edmonton's end for many seconds. Leon, I thought he was going to pass it back to Koskinen for a face-off, and I wish he would have, but instead he gave it to Bear, and Bear looked like he had the puck, but he had two guys on him because he didn't have any support. So,
He's
bam.
greedy to score. Like I get it. Like he's greedy to score.
Oh,
Like
well.
God love the man. Like he loves to score,
Mm-hmm.
loves to get that puck and go, loves
Right.
to win the game, wants to do it. This is what all offensive players want. So I understand his motivation. It's coming from the best place for a hockey player. Like he wants that puck on his stick so he can win the game for the Oilers. But he's wanting it a little. He's wanting it to the what's making him great is also tearing him down right now because this has cost the Oilers. Let's say they get points out of half those games.
Mm-hmm.
It's cost them a handful of points. They could be ahead of Vegas right now. Bruce Tippett shouldn't have started him in overtime.
Well,
By
I'm
now,
guessing next game he won't, and I'm guessing next game he might hold him back for a couple of shifts, and I don't blame him. Like he's got to do something because it's not just a matter of, well, he's doing it and he's getting away with it. He's not getting away with it. They're getting burned for goals against time and again in the 3-on-3 because they're tireder than the other team. It's just not acceptable. It's not disciplined. It's not team oriented. It's not. It's just not good.
he had one opportunity to get off 60 seconds in, and then there was another one about 30 seconds later where the puck came out to center ice, and if he had shaded over on his forecheck and then just hustled off, someone else could have come off. Like there was two
Yeah.
chances at least, but the obvious one was a minute in after a minute shift. Anyway, like
Yeah, well, you got to have the puck, and they always had the puck for about 15 of the 133 seconds or whatever, and that's just and the overtime. I mean, the change. It's a long change with only three players. It is a brutal change if you don't have the puck, but
mhm.
that's why when you do get the chance, you got to take it.
Well, that's it. When your team gets possession, you've got to think, okay, like
Mm-hmm.
game management here. All right. Well, I'm sure we've beat that to death, but
Yep.
I'm surprised we still have to. Like after the last rant
Really.
both of us had, like I
Mm-hmm.
thought, we were calling anyway. Tippett doesn't listen to our podcast, but he's ultimately responsible
Yeah, he's
as
got
the
to take
coach.
charge of this thing,
Yeah.
as Jack Nicholson said in Mars Attacks. It's time to take charge of this thing. Jeez. Well, and I mean, I guess that he's playing with a headstrong player, but Leon had 26 guests over from Germany who watched him play a
Yeah.
pretty brutal game tonight.
Yeah.
So, my number. Let's go to my number. And
What's
I'm
your
sorry,
number?
sorry, Leon. My number is 0. That's the number of shots on net for Leon. It's the number of scoring chances he chipped in. Although, to his credit, he did set up a couple where the guy he passed to missed the net. So
Okay.
obviously that doesn't help. But
All
0
right.
scoring chances for against, and also zero power plays for the Oilers. So the Oilers have got the league leading power play, and it's like the NHL refs are going, well, we got the solution for that. No more power plays for you. They've had 2 in 3 games total.
I'm getting a little
One,
tired of the
1,
refs.
and 0 in 3 games. Like, how about a frickin' penalty call once in a while? Like when the guy spears Koskinen when he's covering the puck. Maybe call it? Jesus. Frickin' shitty roughing. Sick of it.
All right.
Call the damn
Okay. All right.
rules.
All right. All right.
And when Koskinen gets mad, and you have who was it who went after him? It was one of the more mild-mannered Oilers that started going after the Vegas guy that gave Koskinen the stick after he firmly had the puck. I mean, I've seen that get called at the other end. Call that.
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay. My number is 72 and 32.
Mm-hmm.
And it's related to these shots on net. This is grade A chances for and against in the last 4 games. 72 grade A chances against, Bruce.
Yeah.
32 for. 32 for.
8 to
So
18 average.
18 to, like, that is incredible.
That's
They are
one bad
getting
game.
stomped game
Every
after they are getting stomped, and I mean, it's papered over because of this absolutely great run of games. I don't know if Mikko Koskinen is going to get a player of the week or anything like that, but it's papered over because of his play. But man, I don't know if we should be worried or not, Bruce. I'm not. I'm
I'm worried.
personally. Are you worried?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the team has lost the plot.
I'm not worried.
It's like
I just.
December again, but it's March, and there's,
Uh, I think they're tired.
mhm.
McDavid was playing sick
Yep,
in two of those games. I
yep,
think he got, like, that's why he was getting no scoring chances. There's a
yep.
reason, right?
Hmm.
So I still think they have a solid team here. They got 6 or 7 good decent defensemen. I think 5 of them are really good. I would keep playing Caleb Jones personally, because I think the team's much better with him in the lineup. And said either Russell or Benning. One of those guys. I wouldn't be sitting Jones. It would be Russell or Benning would be the one. I think they got decent forward lines. So I don't know. I'm still I they got to keep the dynamite line together. When something is going as good as that, you do not break it up. And I don't. Louis DeBrusque was praising Tippett for the saying it was broke, even though no one else could see it was broke. Kind of quote, whatever that quote was. But I don't buy that for a second. You have a line playing like that, you do not break it up, and you got to find. There's solutions for Connor McDavid's wing on this team that doesn't entail Nugent Hopkins and Yamamoto playing with them. And when he's healthy, that will become clear. Maybe that's why they did it, to help him through a
Well,
tough patch.
Oilers had, you talk about their forwards, well, they had 5 forwards with 0 shots on net tonight and 4 others with 1. So they're not generating a hell of a lot.
They missed Joakim Nygard.
Well, that's
That's not even.
97.
That's
There's
not
no
a
doubt.
shot at Joakim Nygard. They do miss him, actually. He's a really good hockey player, I think. And
Mhm.
they will. He'll add to the mix. It'll be interesting to see who sits when he comes in the lineup. I thought plus note, just a quick plus note. I thought Andres Athanasiou had a few moments this game. He got off some shots, made a few plays. So I'm still not decided if he's Yvan Cornwallis or Patrick O'Sullivan yet, but I'll tell you in a few months, Bruce.
Patrick O'Sullivan on the 2-2 goal.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he? There was lots of people who stunk on that goal. Clefbaum and Larson
And my
also.
wife, she was a big Gagne fan. She's going, we gave up Gagne and 2 picks for this guy. She's saying Gagne was playing better than what we've seen out of Athanasiou so far, and
She's right.
it's hard to make a strong case against that point of view.
Yeah, I'm gonna withhold judgment
Yeah,
on.
well, yeah, it's time. I mean, these guys take time, and they're. I mean, Tippett's probably doing the right thing in moving him down the lineup as opposed to force feeding him top 6 minutes when he's clearly not ready for him. But he needs to be ready for something one of these games. He
Indeed,
scored
Bruce.
2 points in his first game, and it's just all zeros since then.
Yeah. Well, let's hope that Connor McDavid's over his flu quickly and that no one else catches it, and they
Yeah.
all evade coronavirus, and we
Yeah,
all
let's
evade the
hope it's
coronavirus.
flu.
And
Yes, flu. It
yeah,
was flu. Let's hope it's just that.
yeah.
So,
Well, they're all young men. They should be fine. They're not in the.
you
They're
would
not in
think.
the. Yeah. I'm just waiting for the shoe to drop, and no one's allowed to attend Oiler games anymore. I'm
Well,
still.
the word came down in San Jose tonight, apparently in that county that their stadium is in. They've banned public gatherings of over 1,000 people for 1 or 2 weeks. I don't know what the time is, but apparently 3 home games for San Jose will be affected, where they may have to play in front of empty barns.
Well, they may move them elsewhere, right?
Well, maybe they'll have to do something. Their farm team also plays in San Jose, so it won't be there. So we'll see what happens. But that's getting dangerously close to. It's not quite Italy yet, but it's a scary situation. There's no 2 ways about it.
It's coming. It's coming to every city, I believe. So we'll see what happens. All right.
Mm.
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah.
Bruce, thanks for
Yeah.
talking tonight.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone. Better game on Wednesday against the Winnipeg Jets. They actually have a practice day tomorrow a team practice on not on that's not an optional before a game. It's the first one in about 2 weeks, and boy, do they need it. And I expect Dave Tippett will be banging his stick on the ice and the boards during tomorrow's practice. That's my bet.
Wow, look at who they got. They got Winnipeg coming up, Islanders Friday, Philadelphia on the road on
There goes Sunday,
Monday, and then Monday in Washington.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope they can get 5 points out of those 4 games. That'll be good. All right, Bruce. Thanks for talking.
Right. Thanks for listening, everyone.
And in the meantime, and in between times, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.